We all want to have six-pack abs and a strong core, and sure, I have a six-pack year-round, but that doesn't mean that my core muscles are strong. And seriously, if you're looking for just six-pack abs, it comes down to more nutrition than exercises that you perform anyways. Core exercises are extremely important to do, and we know this. We need to work all levels and layers of the core. And now, sure, we have our rectus abdominis muscles, which is the six-pack abs, the transverse abdominal muscles, the internal, external obliques. I can go on. But if we're missing this one important muscle that you're likely not even strengthening or aware of, then you're missing a major piece to true core strength. This is your diaphragm muscle. This is a parachute-shaped muscle that acts as a pump to pull in oxygen. But that's not its only function. Sure, we need it to direct the air to the lungs because majority of us just breathe through the muscles in the upper chest and the diaphragm is hardly working at all. But this is an internal muscle that we do not see, but we need to be able to engage it properly and create true strength in it so that when you're performing exercise, when you're bracing your core, when you're doing any core exercise or any exercise at all, this needs to be engaged so that you can protect your back, decompress your spine, make sure that your body is aligned to prevent you from getting injured, but to also create true strength throughout your entire body. If you watch somebody take a diaphragmatic breath, you'll notice that the belly expands when you inhale, or at least different parts of the rib cage will expand and get bigger and then get smaller as you exhale. That's because the diaphragm moves down as you inhale and moves up as you exhale. So now when you're performing exercises like bracing your core or strengthening your core brace, deadlifts, squats, really any exercise, you want your core to be in that brace position. But now if you're wanting to activate your diaphragm and breathe through the diaphragm while you're in that locked position, you have to learn how to strengthen the diaphragm in all of its ranges, also decompress your rib cage so that you can create all of this intra-abdominal pressure to protect your spine, to protect your rib cage, your core, so that you won't get injured, that you can improve your strength and have an extremely strong core. So grab your rolled up towel and let's start by decompressing your core and activating your diaphragm. You just got to be able to be aware of what it feels like to take a diaphragmatic breath, and then you can build off of that. Once you start understanding how to breathe through the diaphragm, then you can start strengthening your core brace and then expanding the diaphragm throughout different areas of your rib cage so that you can be strong and supported through every lift you're doing. So I'm going to be showing you how to decompress your core and activating your diaphragm, how to strengthen your diaphragm muscle, and then how to actually create this core brace position while breathing through the diaphragm while you're integrating this into any lift, exercise, or movement that you're performing. First thing is grab your rolled up towel and let's lay it flat on the floor and nice and slow bring your belly button directly over top of the towel. Now you can stay up on your elbows like this, but first thing we want to do is start breathing and expanding our belly in towards the towel. So as you inhale, try to focus and locate that your belly is expanding in towards the towel. As soon as you've accomplished that, that's when you know you're starting to activate the diaphragm muscle. Now, as you exhale, you're going to start feeling the towel sinking deeper into the core. So we really want to relax into this and allow the towel to get deep into the core. And then as you inhale, that's when you're engaging the diaphragm. That's where the diaphragm moves down and then the belly expands and protrudes into the towel. So try breathing in and out through the nose. As you inhale, expand the belly in, and then as you exhale, make the belly nice and small. So we want to be relaxed throughout this position, and there's only two rules of doing any of these fascia decompression exercises. One is, as long as you're breathing, you're feeding and healing. So don't hold your breath, and if it's too painful, ease off and reconnect at a less intensity. Now, the only other rule is you got to spend a minimum of 3 minutes in this position. This is going to allow the connective tissue to decompress, unlock all of these adhesions around the diaphragm so you can actually unlock it and start reintegrating the diaphragm muscle. So now that you've settled in, you can come down to the floor, relax. You can try to get a little bit deeper, and if you're feeling some pain deep in the belly, that's okay. We're targeting the psoas muscle, different core muscles, even the fascia that wraps around our organs. We need to release this to be able to expand the diaphragm and the core so that when you are performing exercises, you can be really strong and stable in this alignment. So once you spent about 3 minutes here, you can spend longer if you would like. Nice and slow, place your hands on your shoulders and exhale up and off. Now flip onto your back, and we want to feel what it's like to take a diaphragmatic breath without laying on the towel. So as you inhale, your belly should be expanding up towards the ceiling. You can place your hands on your belly, you can place the towel on your belly, and make sure it's lifting up as you inhale. Then as you exhale, the towel or your hand should be moving down towards the floor. Now, if you're doing this, you are diaphragmatically breathing. This is such an important muscle to activate and engage throughout the entire day, not only when you do this position or when you're performing exercise. So right now, we're in a relaxed position. It can be pretty simple to just expand the belly as you inhale and make it small as you exhale. But what happens when you need to engage your core muscles when you're performing exercise? This is where it comes down to bracing your core and engaging the diaphragmatic breath to create that intra-abdominal pressure to protect your back, your spine, and to create a lot of strength and pressure in your core. So let's stay on our back, let's bend the knees like this, and first thing I want you to do is feel what it's like if somebody were to poke or punch you into the stomach. Another thing you can do is place your fingers under your low ribs and try to exhale and shoot the fingers out from your core. That's engaging the core and starting to brace the core. So your low ribs will be coming down slightly, but you also want your pelvis and your pelvic floor to be stacked over top of your diaphragm. So now let's get into this position. Let's feel the core braced. Your shoulder blades may be coming off of the floor slightly, and that's totally okay and normal. And now make sure that you're tilting your pelvis into that neutral alignment, and now let's hold it there. So now that it feels like you could take a punch to your core, we have to be able to activate the diaphragm now. So this is where you could be thinking, this is going to be kind of challenging because I just learned how to breathe through the diaphragm when I'm relaxed. But now we want to learn how to engage the diaphragm and direct it to the low belly, the side, the back ribs, and then travel all the way up. Think of this as a pump or a syringe. If you were to pull in air, you want to start from the bottom all the way up. So engage those low abdominal muscles, feel them expanding, and then feel the side and your back ribs expanding as you inhale, and then bring that all the way up into your upper ribs. This is going to help decompress your entire rib cage while also creating strength. So let's perform 5 breaths like this. So let's keep it locked, and then let's inhale and expand your belly, your side ribs, back ribs, all the way up to the upper ribs. And now let's exhale, and don't lose that engaged core. Keep it flexed the entire time. Now perform 5 full repetitions so that you can feel more comfortable with this movement and this action. You're probably wondering, is this something that I want to do when I'm performing any exercises? And yes, this is the key. This is what you need to be doing when you're doing any exercise. I don't care if it's an isolation exercise or a full-blown compound movement or a sport that you're performing. Sure, there will be times where it's going to be more relaxed, but especially if you are getting ready for a lift, you have to brace your core. So performing this action while you're doing bench press, squats, deadlifts, really doesn't matter what exercise you're doing. Always make sure that you're engaging the diaphragm, the core brace, when you are performing any exercises. Now let's say you're doing intentional core work. This could be a plank. This could be leg raises. This could be Russian twists. Whatever it is, you need to keep the core braced, but breathe through the diaphragm. Try not to breathe up through those muscles in the upper chest, because that is creating a weaker core, and that's also lacking your body of oxygen. And oxygen is that #1 essential nutrient our body requires. And the more oxygen you can provide into your bloodstream, the more energy that you're going to provide, the more ATP that you will have in your body. This is something that you can integrate into anything you're doing at all times. When you're just relaxed, working at your desk or doing anything, yes, relax and just breathe nice and simply through the belly. But as soon as you're having to engage and lift anything heavy or do any activity or exercises, make sure that your core is braced, because this will create true core strength.